stomping kick attacks in Bagua Kuntao Silat. Now, I've been concentrating on the entire body, as I've mentioned several times, but I'm going to focus today on lower body only while we're using our entire body, because honestly, most frequently, previously, I've been showing you upper body maneuvers with stepping, sapus, besets, drills, and other things, and this makes your entire art so much better and more effective. And you have to be aware of it because it's a simple and extremely effective technique or techniques. And one of the things I'm going to show you as I approach him and or he approaches me, I'm going to use overturning palm to enter as I'm using the stomping techniques from Bagua Kuntao Silat. And before I forget, please like and subscribe. As he gets in a stance, the most common technique you'll see, and please go to the fundamentals of stepping in Bagua Kuntao Silat so you can see how to properly utilize your weight to make these stomping techniques effective, because it's an entire center shift and body mass movement explosively in order to affect your opponent properly. So you can see he's in the left lead, and we prefer right lead or whatever dominant hand you are because we're a weapon-based art. And since we're in a right lead while he's in a left lead, he's going to approach me, and right away you'll see the stomping technique directly to his floating ribs, or I could have chosen his belly button, his groin, or his solar plexus. Typically we will not go higher than the solar plexus, and often our kicks will be below the waist. But what I wanted to show you was the technique is a simple knee raise, weight shift, and I'm entering into his torso, and he stopped short. Now, because I caught him sooner, and this is a demonstration, I didn't have to use upper body because my foot technique was above his waist and it was interfering as he approached. This technique is extremely similar to what Muay Thai calls the teep, or the stomping push kick with the lead leg. And it's done with the pendulum movement, meaning your rear leg is going to replace your front leg as you body shift forward to stomp and move in. However, be sure of yourself and practice it a lot before you try to do it against a moving opponent, because if you're not properly sunk, if you're not completely aware of your skeletal position and you're rooted and his momentum, you will be bowled over. However, it's an easy technique to use spontaneously if you want to catch somebody short and you've practiced it properly with great resistance against a moving opponent. More commonly, and as I've shown in my other videos, that as he moves forward, it's going to be a stomping technique where I go directly on his ankle and move forward. And you can see him looking at me here now, because as I move my weight forward, and I'm trying to do it to show you but not cause damage, it's going to affect his skeleton in such a way that it's impossible for him to move forward. And the more he pushes, the more damages he's going to do to his knee joint. And it is inescapable when it's properly done. That was also done with some footwork or the switching while I'm stomping and going down. That technique can also be used to the knee as he moves forward. And you can see in this one, I'm stepping in so I can follow up and then sapu him without him actually being effective. And I don't want to sapu him on the cement spontaneously. The technique may also be used on the thigh to buckling the same way, not just the ankle or the knee or the hip. And it's all done with the idea that I'm shuffling and dropping that weight forward. Typical technique for the scissor step and using the rear leg is what people call cross stomping. Very common, you'll see it in Savate, Karate, other Kung Fu, Kuntao systems, and in every other martial art really that uses it practically. As he moves forward, and you can see I'm simply doing our regular fundamental stepping and entering just as I would step down, but I'm stepping forward on his shin. It can also be done as he moves forward directly on his ankle as I'm moving forward. And I turn it as an advantage to make sure I catch that ankle. I don't have to look. I know where he's stepping. I can see it. We've done our drills and our practices and our sparring techniques and I know he's only has 2 legs as well as I do, and where he has to be. I can see him. I know where his foot is, and I can concentrate on this. If I'm doing it on the inside or outside, it doesn't matter. His feet are always going to be where his feet are going to be as he performs that technique, and I recognize it from his skeletal structure and positioning and his movement. So we don't have to just use our front leg. For our rear leg, same way. He moves forward, and it's as I'm moving forward, and I can also step on the inside and make it easier to sapu him as we move this way. We don't always hit and draw back, but we could, depending upon what effect we're trying to generate or what reaction we're trying to gain from the opponent. And you can see it's as simple as I move forward, kick, and then as soon as I make contact, I bounce off and come back. However, more frequently, it's going to be a kick to enter, then step, and then reset or sapu or crash to move him back. But it all happens with the stomping technique. You could also do it, say, on as he delivers a straight right cross, we overturning palm, and then stomp technique to stomp and then push through and push him out of the way, where the second stomp was right to his groin as I move forward and naturally knock him down or into his hip. We could also do it if he comes in with a lead technique and I stomp into his hip to break him down, striking palm to the back of his head. And that's just an inner, not showing finishes or intermediate strikes or combos or anything. I'm showing you simply the possibilities as we use for the stomping technique. Not simply on the shuffle, but as a simple step as we're moving here, moving forward. It could also be done as he moves forward and I step to evade, and then I just simply stomp that way. Side stomp. But it's no different as if we were stepping on the square, or if we were sparring and moving around. I see he does that, and I use overturning palm to engage, pressure him, then pressing palm, and I simply just stomp on that knee. The stomping is done as simply and efficiently as possible in order to keep from us disrupting our root, our structure, and our position. And it's a simple weight shift and uncoiling as you bring that movement forward. And I'm showing you in a slow and easy manner so you can clearly see what I'm doing. There are many, many ways to affect this, and I'm simply showing you the basic practices of stomping in Bagua Kuntao Silat. For a quick summary, you can use a shuffle step on stomping this way, or as he's moving forward, I lean back and stomp it this way. I could also simply use him overturning palm and stomp him. He gets into position and I want to move forward, but I don't want to hurt him. I know he's going to take a poke at me and I move forward. I step to the side, he tries to follow and punch me before I finish moving. Yeah. And instead of going directly on that stomp, I simply move forward and I approach it on the side and stomp. Yeah, stomp the leg. It's an easy one. He's kind of stretched out. I'm relaxed and sunk. And I move forward and I can twist in his body one way while I'm stomping him another way. And not only can it be done straight on, I'm making sure I grab this by turning my foot slightly, like in a scissor step. But also, if I move this way and I miss that for whatever reason, I can go straight on this and just stomp on his ankle that way to break it. You can also do it simply by, if you see someone attacking and I use overturning palm to get away, and I just go straight on the side of his ankle like this, which is completely debilitating. And no, I'm pulling my energy and weight quite a bit to be sure I don't enter and snap or break those joints. It is far simpler and easier. If you're struggling with this to make it work, you're not approaching and contacting him in the proper way. And you can attest to that.
You're not even hitting me.
Right. Yeah, it's this, and I say stomp because when it's done with real intent to cause injury in order to defend yourself or someone else, it's really done in such a manner, and your weight is puncturing through that person into the ground as you shifted it from this leg and dropped it into that leg explosively. And you've done it again. I've shown you this is the front way to approach it. You can also do it crossways, but also depending upon your angle, is his foot is here, he's in the center, and this is a perfect way to introduce it. Usually not going to get the time to be able to step out here, but you can, and just go directly to the side and step as he rolls. Yeah, and you can see it's directly affecting. You see, I'm trying not to cause him harm or injury or disrupt his balance too much, just as a demonstration. But you really can't help it when you do it directly, properly, and you enter and touch on top of the joint and then straight through it while you roll it and push it forward and bring your weight down to complete the step, just as you would if you were stepping on a rock and you want to envelop that rock with your entire foot as you move forward and you feel it roll underneath. It's not underneath it, that will cause pain, but it won't cause him to disrupt his skeleton, balance, or his center. It's directly on top of it, and then you just roll that weight through. You don't, you felt again, sorry. You don't do it, you don't have to do it slowly except to each other in practice. In reality, again, it's a quick stomp. And it can be with a shuffle step, or it can be with a simple scissor step. Most frequently, if you're doing it, you enter, and say he even comes in with a kick, and I simply stomp forward, and I tried to pull it because I saw I was going to do it. Disastrous. Yeah, I did not want to do it because I was going right at it like I've been trained to do. So you can do it simply walking forward, and I'll give you the next video of drills and practices for stomping kick on the square and triangle. Thank you for coming. Please tune in again and go to my website at www.popssigung.com. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.